is, running it down on these niggas.
Sex, drugs, money, and murder, my nigga. You know how we get it, my nigga. Still be painting them bitches, my nigga. Ripping that roll, fucking your bitches. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. 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 Niggas, they never gon' hurt you. Niggas will never will hurt you. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. Sex, drugs, money, and murder.
Had the trap spot, understand how to get that. Ran down on them niggas with a flip back. Knew I never seen none nigga live like that. I was still getting stacks back. Had to fuck around getting them packs back. Niggas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Bulletz Gotti. You know, before we start this video, I want y'all to do is smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and smash the like button. It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. It's the Bulletz Gotti Show. Salute. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. This video right here is to talk about the whole FX docu-series, Dear Mama. I did a video previously talking about it, and I didn't get too in-depth because I wanted to watch it. So I done watched 4 episodes. 4 episodes, period. 4 episodes. I done watched 4. Okay? And all of the 4 episodes, some of it, there's some truths in it, and some of it was a lot of cap. I felt like they had a lot of unreleased footage of Pac. Footage I done seen before, but a lot of unreleased footage that was remastered. They had his pops on there. They had his aunt on there, his cousins. Edie Mean is in there. You know, Man, and a lot of other people that was with Pac in his early days. He's in a documentary. Now, mind you, it's not a bad documentary. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad documentary. It's well written. A lot of cap. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of cap in the whole story, especially when it comes to the whole car studio situation. And so, when you watch the documentary, and it starts with, you know, his mother and him living in Baltimore, Marin City. It takes you back. It's like The Godfather. You watch The Godfather 2, it's kind of like The Godfather 2 documentary-wise. It takes you back to his beginnings, to his mother's story, and then goes back to his story. So it's like The Godfather. It's kind of like the documentary is kind of like, I would say it's depicted just like The Godfather. Now, what really triggered me was his story was when, so what really triggered me was the story where they talked about the whole quad studio situation and him being incarcerated in New York, right? What triggered me about the story was that the way they told the story, right, of his incarceration in New York, and not only his incarceration in New York, but how he got shot, who lined it up. I don't know if niggas got paid, right? I heard Lil Sean got paid by FX and Allen Hughes and Jimmy Love. That used to be with Andre Harrell. He executive produced the whole thing. Jimmy Love and Andre Harrell. So what happened is they said in the story that Lil Sean was the one that lined him up, and he was on the phone with Lil Sean. Now, that was cap. That was cap. That had a lot to do with Jimmy, a lot to do with Asian Jack. I didn't like how they tried to depict Suge Knight, like he was manipulating and he was a master manipulator that made Pac do what he did, and how they try to depict him as, oh, he was an actor because he was a talented actor, that all his reactions came from him being an actor, which wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? Which wasn't true. So when you got people that's, whatever reasons they saying what they saying in a movie, in a documentary, it just, in my opinion, was out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? And basically, I feel that, you know, they was trying to like shit on that man's legacy. Now, when it comes to, the documentary and his story and his mother's story, that's understandable. They telling two stories. His mother's story and his, right? And they talked about how, his father, how he met his father when he was in the hospital. That's true facts, that's a true story. His relationship with Legs, who was down with Nicky Barnes, and him being the father figure that he knew, and just a whole lot of stuff that they was talking about in the story. Even when it comes down to even the whole situation with him shooting at the two off-duty police, and a whole lot of stuff. I was kind of shocked they never talked about the whole situation in Milwaukee with the BDs. That was a real serious situation, and a whole lot of other situations. But they talked about certain things that they felt they should talk about, like the Hughes situation. The Hughes brothers situation is what really put Pac in debt. But this narrative that they keep pushing, and they've been pushing this narrative on the Defiant Ones, that Interscope came and got Tupac. Pac was basically calling Interscope while he was in Clinton to give him his money, his residuals from the Me Against the World album to get itself out. Suge Knight, they dropped him off Interscope. Let's get this clear. They dropped him off Interscope. When he had the most successful album, they didn't even want Interscope. They didn't want to even deal with him. They didn't want to pick up his phone calls or nothing. Suge Knight came and got him. David Kenner came. He signed a deal. He had a 3-album deal, which is, he did 2. Even though he wasn't allowed to do the third album, but he was able to do 2, which was All Eyes on Me and 7 Day Theory, which he was dead, after that album came out. But he had 3 deals on the table to do a 3-album deal with Death Row Records. The problem is, when they depict the whole situation, is that Interscope, that Suge Knight took Interscope money to bail Pac out, and that's cap. The thing I don't like is that they keep trying to make it as, he was naive, and Suge Knight made him do the things that he did, which was not true. Okay, the man was lined up, okay, and he had every right to be angry. If you listen to his Vibe interview, he went at everybody in his Vibe interview. He went at Haitian Jack, Jimmy, Puff, Big, Little Sean, Andre Harrell, all in Vibe magazine. You read the whole Vibe. I got the copy, the official copy at my crib. If you read the interview that Kevin Powell and him did, they blurred names out. But everything that he did when he came home, he let it be known in that Vibe magazine article. What a lot of dudes don't understand is, right? Because Wack 100 like to run with this narrative, right? That Pac was raped in jail, which was something that, or sexually assaulted. I'm not going to say the R word, but sexually assaulted in jail, which something that Wendy Williams was the one that brought this narrative out there, was pushing this narrative. And the narrative was this man was assaulted in jail, and he was beat up and assaulted and all type of nonsense, right? What people don't understand is that never happened. That never happened. Because he was protected by the Rat Hunters, who was, if you know about the Rat Hunters, the Rat Hunters was big in upstate. It was big upstate. So the dudes that Pac was holding him down, Charlie Rock LD, Rat from Fort Greens, who was a rat hunter. It was many rat hunters that was rolling with Pac in Clinton Correctional Facility. So the dude said that man was touched. That man wasn't touching in jail. That was a big cap that they put out there. That was big cap that they put out there. But when you got people that push narratives that didn't like Pac, because there was a lot of dudes that didn't like that man. especially in Brooklyn. It was dudes in Brooklyn, it was just dudes in New York in general that didn't like that man. Now, when he got shot, when him and Nichols got shot, because Nichols got shot and Pac got shot, when they both got shot, people don't know the backstory there. They was gonna go to war. They was gonna go to war with the dudes. Okay? They was gonna go to war. And what people don't understand is Pac had dudes in the street that really had love for him. You know, like Preem, like and many others, you know. So you don't know that Preem, when they was doing the Thug Life thing, Preem and him he was reaching out to dudes like Preem and many others in New York. You know what I'm saying? To do the whole let's clean the streets up. Preem was one of them that's on the whole I wouldn't say the contract, but the whole manifesto. His name is in the manifesto with the clean the streets situation. But they don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about Afro East, how you had dudes like Big D and dudes like Eric B and a lot of real street dudes in New York that had love and respect for Pac and really rock with son. You know what I'm saying? But the narrative they want to push is that the dude was a sucker, the dude was soft, the dude was an actor and a poser, which that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't have no problem with the documentary because it's a documentary, but what I don't like is the depiction of this man's character is wrong. You know, the way they depict him is wrong. Even in this documentary, you know, it's the way the depictions is that this man had delusions of grandeur, that he was mentally disturbed, he was a tortured soul, and you know, he was just doing things just to react, and because he was a masterful actor, and Juice is what really made him act the way he acted, and just all of that BS, which Juice is not the reason why he did the things that he did, and it had nothing to do with that movie. What happened was the real, if you really want to know the real stuff is that it wasn't just Juice and all of that. That Juice shit is I think that's BS. When dudes be trying to put that, oh yeah, it's because when he was in Juice, Pac was a real one. He was a revolutionary. He was a real one. He was a dude that stood for his people. There's many stories you have heard of Pac being in New York on 125. You know, being in Queens out there in Springfield Gardens. You know, being all through New York, Brooklyn, wherever, the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. Pac lived on 183rd. You know what I'm saying? Pac lived in Harlem, you know, all through Harlem before he went to Maryland, you know, Baltimore. People don't understand that this man went to the struggle. His mother was an addict, you know what I'm saying? But that didn't stop that. That ain't stop him from being great, and didn't stop him from nothing. People don't understand that his One Nation album was going to be something impactful. They never talk about that One Nation project, where he was going to have Fat Joe on the One Nation project, where he was going to have Nas on the One Nation project, where he was going to have Busta Rhymes on the One Nation project. But they just wanted to tell you that, oh, this man was just a madman and he hated all of New York, which that wasn't true. He did mad songs with Buckshot, Steel, and Tech, and many dudes. His issues with the dudes that he felt, and he didn't even have an issue with Biggie. It was just on some wax, like them just going back and forth on some music shit. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have hate for that man. He just felt a way because I'm in your city. You know, one thing that Pac, he spoke his mind, and no matter what he said, he stood for what he said. He stood for what everything he said. You know, he stood for everything he said. He spoke his mind, and everything that he said out his mouth, he meant it. It's not a dude that Pop shouldn't apologize or didn't stand for nothing. You know what I'm saying? He stood for it. He wasn't intimidated by, you know, these dudes. You know, when people say, oh, New York, Pac, Jimmy had Pac scared. No, he wasn't. Because Pac still came back to New York. Pac still had ties. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that when the beef was popping, you know, dudes wasn't even trying to face Pac in the town. You know what I'm saying? Because he came out to the MTV Music Awards. You know what I'm saying? He came to the SNL. He was still coming out to New York. He still was coming out to New York. You know what I'm saying? So when dudes said he wasn't coming to New York, how he wasn't? He had ties with real ones in New York. You know what I'm saying? So don't believe all the cat that you hearing from dudes that just gonna push their narratives, because it's a narrative. Dude that come from it, born from New York, come from New York, how the hell he gonna hate the city that he come from? He just hated that dudes lined him up because dudes try to play him. If you listen to Lance Un shit, and you heard what he said, right? Pac wasn't feeling Jimmy and them. He wasn't feeling Jimmy and Jack. He wasn't feeling them dudes. You know what I'm saying? And people, this is the misconception that they get out of the whole situation. They always say Tut. Tut didn't shoot Pac. Who shot Pac, and I'm not going to say their names because they're incarcerated right now, and it's not Dexter Isaac. Let's get that clear, because Dexter Isaac did not shoot Pac. He's not even pistol whipping. Who shot Pac is Little Sean, co-defendant. If you know about Little Sean case, that's who shot Pac. A nigga that's his co-defendant. A nigga that he loved shouting him out. That's a nigga that shot Pac. That's a nigga that disciplined Pac. Tut was there, and Nubs, who's deceased, was there also. They were the three that, and the other dude, which I'm not gonna say his name, he's incarcerated, was there. When Tut got locked up at the court, he had Pac's rollie on his wrist in court. That's when they came. When they got him, he had Tupac's Rolex on his wrist. But he wasn't the one that shot him, and he wasn't the one that pistol whipped him. That's the narrative that they push out there, because, you know, he held it down, and Tut did hold it down. He didn't even say that man's name, and him and the man is in the same facility, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's here nor there, you know, but he never said that man's name. You know, never said that man's name. So when a lot of people say, oh, you know, Tut, I'm like, nigga, he didn't do that. Everybody know he didn't do that. You know, the man that did it is in the same facility with him, and they both locked up. And he was the one that pistol whipped and shot Pac. You know, and like I said, Tut was rolling around with his Rolex, but he didn't do it. You know, so when the dudes come online and they tell a story, they gotta tell a story right. You gotta tell a Pac story right, man. You can't, like, one thing I don't respect about dudes, man, they made Pac seem like he ain't had dudes that love him in the streets. He was a poser, he was a fake dude. There's mad fake dudes out here. Pac was a real one that stood on his dean. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't scared of nothing, and he ain't back down. He ain't back down, you know what I'm saying? A lot of rap dudes back down, you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, when 50, look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. When 50 was beefing with Jack or Jimmy, because they try to press on 50. 50 wasn't going for it. 50 wasn't going. 50 was on his Tupac shit. Like, he wasn't going for none of that, trying to extort and all that. He wasn't going for that. And that's why when you look at a lot of them dudes like Ali Zoe, who's an informant, you know, Chip, and you look at Jack and you look at Jimmy, these dudes, they went out bad, you know what I'm saying? And what these dudes was known for was extortion. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing that happened at Madison Square Garden when you hear R. Kelly say, yo, you seen the dudes with the guns? Yeah, Jimmy and them was pressing that line on him at the Garden. You know, that's what he was, you know what I'm saying, when Jay-Z, and you know, Jay-Z, I remember when Jay-Z, the whole jail felony situation, Jimmy brought jail felony to Marcy, and they shot that video out there. Jail felony was his artist. They brought J.O. out to Marcy to basically try to play some extortion games with Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? That's why Jay-Z ain't really rock with none of the Brooklyn dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because that was what Jimmy and Jack thing was, the extortion game. You know what I'm saying? Pressing that line. You know, Chris Lighty, you know what I'm saying, wasn't having it with Jack. Jimmy, he wasn't having it with Jimmy. That's why he smacked Jimmy up. You know what I'm saying? He didn't back down. You know what I'm saying? And being that Chris Lighty's a Bronx nigga, he not playing them games. You know what I'm saying? He not playing them games. You know what I'm saying? And what people don't understand is that the rap game back then was next level. And what I respected about Pac was that he didn't jump out, he didn't diss Biggie or had hate for Biggie the way they try to portray it. He was mad at what dudes they do. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that, you know, if dudes set you up, right, they do what they do to Shorty, right? Jack and Son, you know, right? They do what they did to Shorty in the hotel room, right? You gonna feel some type of way when you going down for all these guns, this sexual assault case. You going down for all of them because, one, this is these niggas' guns. Two, they did what they did to Shorty. You left out the room. And three, niggas is lying to you and they ain't doing no time. Like, you gotta really look at it. Jack really ain't do no crazy time in jail. You know what I'm saying? Jack, if you really want to be technical, Jack is involved in everybody's case. You know, he has some influence in some niggas' cases. Like, Peter Shue said he has some involvement in his case. You know? Pistol Pete, if you know, had said he had some involvement in his case a little bit. If you really listen to the whole Sex Money, his man, Jack Mans, Anthony, that they own Manhattan proper together, was murdered in '93. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other people that had, you know, cases have said Jack was some way involved in their cases. So when it comes to the nigga Haitian Jack, and when Pac and them, when he said same crimes, knew he was working for the feds, same crimes, different cases, it is what it is. He was a hot, like Jack is a hot boy. When you got the police and feds saying that you was hot, and then when he shot, now look, this is the crazy thing. When he shot the BMF nigga, right, in Cali, right, he got locked up for that, and then he got deported. Now, he had an option to come back to the States. He opted out not to. He opted out not to fight, right? He opted out not to fight, and he just went back to Haiti first, and then he just told him, I want to be in the Dominican Republic. Now, mind you, this dude, you know, had a checkered past. Look at Jimmy. You know, everybody told on Jimmy, but not only that they told on Jimmy, but Jimmy also had some sketchy shit with him. And like, a lot of these dudes, man, they sketchy because how they was moving through the city. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, you know what I'm saying, how they was moving through the city. But what Pac wanted was like, who did this to me? And keep it real, you know? And like, when dudes was saying what they were saying, like what John Singleton did, try to play Pac out, which I kind of respect that, but even Benny Boone did some BS with the movie, you know what I'm saying? But what I didn't like with John Singleton was trying to do was, he was trying to write in the movie that this man was assaulted in prison, which that did not happen. That was a nasty rumor that Wendy Williams created in 95 actually. Said that man was sexually assaulted, which that did not happen. What happened was this man was doing his time, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? And he was running, and he had, you know, the rat hunters was holding him down. You know, it was the rat hunters that was really holding him down in the Latin Kings, but it was a majority rat hunters that was holding Pac down. A lot of people said the Latin Kings, but it was really the rat hunters that was really holding him down. Like the niggas like Rap, you know, Charlie Rock, LD, and all the rat hunters. All the dudes that was rat hunters was running with Pac. And he was on the main line until they put him in, you know, in protective custody. You know what I'm saying? And that's what dudes don't understand. They put him in protective custody, but he was, and he didn't want to go into to custody, but because he was a high-profile artist, he had to go. It's just like with Sean. Sean was in population, but they put him in custody too. You know, so a lot of these dudes, man, you know, a lot of these dudes that's in jail, man, it's not that they want to go in custody or they want to go in there, but they have to. They have to because of high-profile cases. And Pac had a high-profile case, and he had to go. But before he was in custody, he was in, you know, population like everybody else. So when dude said that we had our people in there to hold Pac down, that's cat. The Panthers you had holding Pac down in jail, it was rat hunters that was holding down Pac. Everybody know that. You know what I'm saying? That was in Clinton. I don't know about no Panthers holding him. I know it was rat hunters that was holding Pac down. You know what I'm saying? Pac was official tissue dude, man. Everybody say what they want about that man, but he stood on his business. You know what I'm saying? He stood on his business. What people don't like is that he stood on his business, and he wasn't no sucker. He wasn't gonna go for dudes discrediting him. You know what I'm saying? He rode the whole East Coast, West Coast wave because of Snoop. They try to push it on Suge. Suge didn't have beef with the East Coast, because if you look Death Row East, it was all the East Coast dudes. Suge was getting the bag for the East Coast rappers. Suge was coming out here rocking with Preem, rocking with Eric B, rocking with Big D. He was in the East Coast coming through, doing business with East Coast. And said, oh, Suge and them was trying to do beefing and all that. That was not true. You know what I'm saying? That's the cap that they want to put out there to the mass media. Everybody know that it was cap and it's not true. You know, but hey, it is what it is. You know, that's the media. That's what they want to put out there, that these dudes was hyping up the East Coast, West Coast beef for records, when these dudes was the first ones that draw the line. When they shot up that trailer in Red Hook, when Snoop and Dogg Pound was out here, that's what ignited the East and West beef. Snoop don't want to even talk about that on the documentary. He tried to make it seem like Pac was just out here, you know, starting drama, and he was just a madman, just going crazy after he come home from jail and got shot. That's bull. That man didn't come. The man was angry because they shot their trailer up, and it was like, okay, y'all want to do that? That's how, you know, NY87 and Hit 'Em Up came about. You know what I'm saying? That man was doing his whole album. All them records came about because dude shot that trailer up. Biggie went on the radio and said, yo, he's stand up. Brooklyn stand up. East Coast stand up. On flex. So when he did that, that's what got the trailer shot up. You know what I'm saying? The way they try to portray him in his Dead Mama documentary is that he was just a madman on death row. You know what I'm saying? He was just his big mouth, and he was just starting problems, and he was just looking for trouble. No, the man was basically betrayed, was left for dead, and he wasn't having that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pac said in the interview, dudes was trying to leave me for dead like Slick Rick. Just keeping it real. This video, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Make sure we get in the algorithm. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And hit the notification bell. It's your boy, Bulletz Gotti. Bulletz Gotti Show. 2 Clean.